Hey guys, J77 here, doing another entertainment roundup audio, the last one of the season, at least until the award ceremonies are in full swing. So I'm basically keeping it light, keeping it more of a free for all. Talking about some of the stories that happened a few weeks prior to the story that happened recently. And I'm going to keep it light, keeping it unlimited. Going to be talking about a few sports articles that came my way. And the first article, of course, will be Mariano Rivera. As you guys know, he officially said his goodbyes at Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees said their goodbyes in a classful way. They have retired his number 42, so it will be amongst the monuments of other legendary players that came before him. And it's even more special because the number 42, pretty much that will be the last person to have ever wore that number. As you know, Major League Baseball have made a great gesture of retiring all 42 numbers as the Jackie Robinson number, and that's because he was the first one to break the collar barrier in Major League Baseball, and because of the role he had played to change the game. In honor of him, they have pretty much retired that number. Period. No one else was allowed to wear number 42, and those who have 42 to 142 was allowed to wear it. But once they have either teams or has retired, the number is pretty much set aside for no one to be used. So Mariano Rivera is indeed the last one to have used it, and in great fashion, he acknowledged Jackie Robinson's accomplishments, as well, knowing the privilege it was for him to have wore that uniform. And it couldn't happen to a better guy. He is going to go down as one of the Yankees greats. He is definitely a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest closers, if not the greatest closer of all time. So it is definitely a big gesture to have. And for me, it's pretty much the end of an era for me, because as I really started to got older and really got into baseball, really into baseball. He, along with Paul O'Neill, Wade Boggs, um, Tino Martinez, Derek Jeter, those guys, he was one of the guys that I grew up and followed from 91 all the way down to their championships years, which, by the way, his resume speaks for himself. And the one thing I know, you have a legend when everybody recognize you and wish they had you as your teammate. They also fear you because they know they have to get through you for your team to win, and that was the big plus about him. We were very fortunate to have a great closer in Mariano Rivera, and I felt that on Sunday, the Sunday that had passed, the Yankees showed some class. It was a great farewell, a fond farewell, a very emotional farewell for him. However, I do have to address one thing. I do have to address this because the Post had pretty much blown this up, and I kind of felt it was a little unfair towards Pennant. As you also know, those living in New York, Andy Pennant officially announced his retirement. It happened 1 week after the big ceremony, and the Post had pretty much made it clear that they felt that he had personally ruined or tried to steal Mariano Rivera's thunder. They felt the timing was off. They felt they should have done it earlier or should have done it after the season was over. I don't have a problem with him announcing it. Could he have done it much later? Of course he could. He could have probably done it pretty much throughout the last game of the season, or pretty much 2 weeks after the fact that the season's over. But I think there's a reason. I think he knows that the writing's on the wall. It was recently officially announced today that the Yankees will miss the playoff first time, I believe, in 4 years, even though despite them having still a winning record. And that pretty much brings to my feeling about the Yankees, as well as why Pennant had made the announcement. It is very clear for what has happened throughout this season with A-Rod, with the injuries, with the fact that the Yankees have struggled to stay above the 500 mark, and no one can deny. You can be the greatest Yankee fan of all time. You knew they struggled to remain a 500 team. It was pretty much a rough ride. And the Yankees staff, we're talking about the general manager, the manager, the owners, are going to be looking forward for a future which is pretty much blank. No one knows what this team is going to do, but whatever their plans are, Pennant may not be a part of that plan, especially if it's a long-term plan. Pennant is no way you can say with a straight face, as much as I love Andy Pennant, that he's going to be back long term. In fact, the only time I can see him actually coming back, if he did choose to stay playing active, is pretty much a 1 year thing. And the Yankees, as much as it will be a good gesture to see him come back, probably that would not be the best of interest in terms of what their future plan is, and that is getting younger, getting more talent here, getting more aggressive, having more power, having more pitching. Pretty much a well-balanced team, which even throughout their winning record with Joe Torre, seemed to slip more and more into just a powerhouse team and pretty much nothing in between. And that's something that the Yankees will have to do because other teams, I'm talking about the Boston in the world, Tampa Bay, even Baltimore, these teams are younger, these teams are more talented, and these teams have enough juice so to go toe to toe, you become even outslug the Yankees at all levels. And this is something that I always felt when the Yankees started their season, that I felt, and along with a lot of other people felt, that the Yankees' chances of going to the playoff was not good, even with the second wild card, which I'm not a fan of. With that being said, I don't think anything did anything wrong. And announcing his retirement, he's pretty much making it official that I'm no longer here, I'm done, and that's it. And I think that for the most part, I thank him for the years that he gave me. I thank him for giving us quality pitching every time it comes to the bat. He's leaving on a high and on a good note, and to me, he's leaving as a Yankee with something he wanted to do from the beginning. So that's just all I have to say about it. I don't have anything else negative towards that. I think that the Post just wanted to make the news because it was pretty much a slow news day, and they picked that. But in all essence, even if that's to be true, which I don't think Pennant that was his intention. I don't think he was trying to steal Mariano's spotlight. Which brings me to my next thing. He wasn't going to steal it anyway because all focus that Sunday was going to be on Mariano Rivera. That was the major focus, and it stayed that way. Andy Pennant was an afterthought to what was going on. Even when the Yankees have lost, the focus was still on Mariano. That was it, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So, thank you, Mariano Rivera, for the great years that you have given me, great memories, the 5 championships which you have helped deliver, even with the Mariano-Whitney combination. Thank you again, and just in general, good job for the Yankees for delivering on such a good send-off at Yankee Stadium. It's a shame it came at a loss, and it's a shame that he will not have that one last Raw. And when it comes to the playoff, but in any case, thank you. Now let's go on to a season that's about to start, the season of the NHL. And as you all know, NHL is going to have a little bit of changes when they start to take the ice again. As you know, they did a realignment with the division again. They pretty much, from what I saw on this new realignment, it's pretty much the teams are pretty much close to net to each other. They're pretty much in travel distance, and most of the teams who are supposed to be Eastern teams, Western teams, are pretty much more legitimized with this standing. And also, let's be realistic, they went with the 3 bars from the East and 3 bars from the West. They went from the traditional 2 and 2. There's 4 divisions altogether, and to me, it's kind of like a better that way. So that way, people won't feel, well, he didn't have a better record. Why is he there? And it pretty much it eliminates that controversy. Keep in mind, it's not perfect. You might still have a team player who should not be there, but at least with this, it eliminates that by 10 folds. So, what does this new division look like? Well, let's take a look at it. We have the Eastern Conference, or may I say Eastern, which is comprised of 2 divisions, the Atlantic and, the Metropolitan why did they have to name it that? Why couldn't they just call it the Northeast or the North? But whatever. Let's start with the Atlantic. The teams that are in the Atlantic are as followed: the Detroit Red Wings, Boston Bruins, the Florida Panthers, Buffalo Sabres, Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning, Iowa Senators, and the Montreal Canadiens. For the Metropolitans, you have pretty much what I expected was going to do: the New York Islanders, Carolina Hurricanes. You also have the New York Rangers, New Jersey Devils, Columbus Blue Jackets, Washington Capitals. You also have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. So those are your the Metropolitan Division. We also have the Western teams, which is pretty much less than the Eastern teams, but I can pretty much sense why. The Western teams are as follows: the Central and the Pacific. The Central is Nashville Predators, Minnesota Wild, Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, Winnipeg Jets, Chicago Blackhawks, defending Chicago Blackhawks, defending champions, and the St. Louis Blues. We have the Pacific Division, which to me is probably the most sound division out of the whole division, and I explain why. Phoenix Coyotes, Vancouver Canucks, Calgary Flame, Edmonton Oilers. We have the San Jose Sharks, the Anaheim Ducks, and Los Angeles Kings. Just hearing that alone, pretty much, I would not change anything with this division. This is pretty much a Far West division, and every team that I just threw out there is from the Far West. You have all three Los Angeles teams, California teams that is, on that division. You have two Canadian teams pretty much within distance of each other, and Phoenix, which pretty much just is pretty much in the tip next to California. So this is just perfectly fine. Now for my feeling of this. First of all, I don't like the Metropolitan Division name. As for the team itself, they're fine. I think the New York Rangers, New York Islanders, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, I think they're fine. Washington, okay. If I have many changes, I probably would have done the following way. I probably would have taken out Chicago and put Chicago in with the Metropolitans. That's probably the only thing I would probably change from that. And just for the hell of it, I probably would have removed Florida and put Florida in the Central. I probably would put them in the Central more often. But other than that, that's pretty much really the only changes I will have. Detroit, you gotta get used to them seeing the Eastern Conference now. I've just recently gotten used to them as the Western Conference team, even though I always scratch my head why it was the Western Conference team to begin with. But then again, when the alignment was what's going on the first time, they didn't really bother to move Detroit at that time. But to me, if the fans don't care about it, then so be it. But it is still kind of weird. Finally, I see a team that originally was out of place in the Western Conference now be put in the Eastern Conference, or Eastern if you put it that way. So there you go. That's all the teams that I have mentioned, and to me, the only beef I truly have is the godforsaken Metropolitan Division. Really, it sounds like everybody in that division belongs to one city. That's just my feeling on that. But in any case, that's the NHL new format. I'd like to hear what you guys have to think about that format, because it's very, very. This is something that didn't happen in a while. Not since they have broken the division up into six, which the reason why they did that is because of the expansion. But I guess NHL didn't feel that division served too much purpose, and they went back to the traditional four divisions. So I'd like to hear your feeling on it. Do you have a problem with this? Do you not have a problem with this? Let me know. I'd like to hear your comments on this issue, especially if you're a diehard NHL fan, not just a sports fan, but a diehard NHL fan. I'm not gonna get too deep into the Miley Cyrus thing. I will say this: I have been following the drama that's going on, if you want to call it that. Amazing how the Video Music Awards seems to spur up all these talks about the singer. And to me, that's exactly what she wanted. I'm not buying that this is that she was surprised she was getting all this from her haters, that she likes to call. She knew what she was doing. She wanted the attention, and she got it. Whether or not this will hurt her career down the road is remains to be seen. But all the stuff that I'm seeing from her doesn't shock me. I can't say this too many times already. It doesn't shock me at all. To me, this is her breaking out and saying that she's going to be shocking, she's going to be extreme, she's going to do things her way, and if you don't like it, that's too bad. This is her doing her artwork, this is her performance, and that's just about it. A lot of people have voiced their opinion about this. The one opinion I actually do agree with totally was when Let's Do This from Spill.com have actually talked about it, and Spill.com brought up a very good, interesting issue about about musicians, or pretty much performers in Hollywood, who wants to branch out and wants to be shocking in the name of getting attention, in the name of keeping their name alive. Perfect example is Justin Bieber. Am I shocked at Justin Bieber's behavior in the last year and a half? No. Especially after everybody was pretty much saying that he was a punk, he was a wussy, you can't take him serious as a performer. So what happened? He started doing things that was not him, not something you do not normally would expect him to do. And for the most part, it kept his name relevant. Am I a fan of Justin Bieber? No, I don't think I really don't care nothing about him. But I'm not going to disrespect his work. To me, I know there's somebody out there likes him. That's fine. Miley Cyrus is no different. Miley Cyrus, to me, in my opinion, wanted to do this for a long time, even during her teenage years. And now that she's an adult, she's going to do what she's going to do. Has it came back and cost her down the road? Do you think that it was the reason why that has ended her engagement? I don't think it did. I think it's other issues. I think not only Miley Cyrus but Hemsworth was at fault with. I think both of them, because I think they rush into things that they shouldn't rush into. And I always felt that when you have a young relationship, especially when it turns to when they want to get married, you sometimes get to ask yourself, are you doing it for the right reasons? Obviously, it was proven just by what has happened in this year and a half that it wasn't the right reason. So that's my theory on that situation. But in any case, in terms of what Miley Cyrus is doing now, it's just attention grabbing. She knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing and what she's targeting. The question is not the issue is, and this is what Spill.com brought up. The issue is that people feel that this is the only way they can grab attention and grab the spotlight to become famous, and they forget, and I hope Miley Cyrus ain't forgetting this, that the one thing that made her famous, and that is her music. And to be fair, a lot of people felt that what she did with the twerking crap, that which I'm not even going to get into, to all that exotic stuff she was doing, she forgot to do the one thing that people actually came out to see, and that's her performance. And they felt that she didn't do that. She didn't perform as a singer. All that other stuff seemed to dilute anything that many of her fans, or diehard fans, even some of the people who supported her, failed to do. And that's sing. And that's something I hope that's not the case. A lot of people say she can do just about anything. That's all fine and dandy, but when the push comes to shove, if the guns are not great and genuine, I don't care what answers you do, the fans are going to slowly disappear. Look at some of the stars who were so desperate to branch out and prove that they're no longer that goody two-shoes, especially with child stars, because they always happen with child stars the most. And then when they try to do something big and they go too fast doing it, it turns off a lot of fans, not support them. So I hope, for the most part, that she understands that, and she will be aware that, hey, I still got to bring out music, I still got to perform, and I still got to perform. You have to bring something to the table in terms of my music character, that fans will continue to support me even way after I turn like 21 and beyond that. But that's just my opinion on the matter. Other than that, she's just looking for attention, and I really don't really think that's something I'm going to be going crazy on, at least not in terms of what they want to do. Now get on to, or maybe turn to sports for quick, because something happened that brought my attention. And this is from Edmonton Journal. And it says here in the article, and I'm going to read it here, this is actually kind of sad. It really is. A Dodger said a man killed in an altercation with a Giants fan was the son of the security guard. Now, you guys don't know, it was a big altercation that happened, which led to a stabbing, according to a couple of reports. I'm going to read what it says here. In San Francisco, the Los Angeles Dodgers said a 24-year-old man who was fatally stabbed during the post-game confrontation in San Francisco was the son of one of the team's security guards. Spokesman Gerald Clifford said on Thursday that Jonathan Winter's father worked security at Dodger Stadium. The San Francisco police said Wilder was walking with his father, a brother, and two other people not far from San Francisco Giants ballpark Wednesday night when their group exchanged words with some Giants fans who were leaving the nightclub. The exchange turned physical, and Wilder, who was wearing a Dodgers gear, was stabbed to death. Life gone over nothing. Denver attended the game with his relatives, but left in the eighth inning, and what turned out to be a 6-4 Giants victory has attackers did not attend. His attacker did not attend the game. Police Chief Greg Scherr said two people are in custody, and one of them is facing homicide charges, and rightfully so. There's no need for that. Nonsense have ended this person's life. Nonsense. I don't know what else to say except wow. That is sad. That is something that you really do not expect or wish on anyone. And hopefully, justice is served, especially for the loss of the family. These altercations, especially some people are diehard fans, but you can't. You got to keep your temper in check. You cannot allow that to get to that boiling point. And two lives are ruined here because of that. Two lives are ruined. I will leave a link to this so you guys can read it because it's a fresh and new story. I will definitely leave a link so you guys can read it. But it's definitely something that I think everybody should take a look at, especially with this. So, a little extra tidbit there for you guys. So, we're down to pretty much the winter season. A lot of people have been talking about it. I talked about the Dexter thing. A lot of people is already waged in on which show will hit the bucket first. Will it be The Shield, which I'm going to tell you right now, The Shield, I am not concerned about. The Shield is going to be pretty much a one season. It's going to get their one season. Whether or not their ratings will stay up, that's the question remaining to be seen. But for now, it had a huge spike, a highest rated for a debut. How much that will maintain really all depends on the quality of episodes that they have, plus how consistent their episodes are from good to bad. So I'm not worried about The Shield. I am looking at, and this is something I'm not no surprise, at the comedy shows. Michael J. Fox's Michael J. Fox show, the William Williams show with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Those are the shows that are pretty much in the bubble to me, because that's the ones that I have. We Are Men. Those are the shows I'm more concerned about, because especially when you have coming back shows, The Parenthood, and so forth. These shows are going to be in competition, and to me, those are the shows I'm going to be looking at. I'm not even concerned about the other ones that are coming out. It's these shows that needs to show me something. And to be honest with you, the one show I'm really concerned about, not much as Michael J. Fox's. Michael J. Fox shows, those are Michael J. Fox related. Family Ties, The City, I believe, Sin City, Spin City. They had a good track record with him on it, so I don't see that stopping now. Granted, it has been a while, but I don't see that fading out. What I do see is Ryan Williams show. I mean, this is probably the first time he's been on television in a long time. I think Morgan Mindy, how was that, good 30 years now? It came out in the 70s or 80s. It's been a long, long time. So his show, so he has more to prove that he can still have it. And being the fact that his movies isn't what it used to be in terms of box office receipts and fanfare, he has more to lose than Michael J. Fox does. So I am really concerned about him having a long life. At the same time, he does have experience in television. Just how much he can actually deliver is something that I have to be certain. I know the show is called I think it's crazy, something crazy. And that's another thing. His title doesn't bring too much of success right there, but we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see how this year is going to pan out. Keep in mind, you're going to start seeing cancellations real quick. This is the last few years. The networks, the powerhouse networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, has, even Fox, has zero tolerance for low ratings. If the show that they feel the show is not going to cut it, they're going to cancel it quick. Last year, almost half of the shows that was premiering got axed before December. Some got axed during the first 2 weeks. So it's definitely the margin for failure is not is very, very short in return to these networks. So they're going to have to come out, and they're going to have to come out swinging. Comedy, I have a little bit more patience for, but dramas, they've been acting left and right. So if they don't have that lift, forget about it. But I'd like to know what you guys think about these shows that's coming out. Which one you feel is going to have a long shelf life? To those, is this going to be basically axed before December, or even before October? So October hits. So because keep in mind, we have seen shows that get canceled in 2 days. So it can happen. I do know one thing. If I have a betting man that one of the shows I don't see lasting long, it's Arsenio, or Arsenio Hall, which you want to call it. I'm not saying that I hate the guy, because I actually liked the Arsenio Hall show back in the days, but that was back in the days. I don't think too many people care for the Arsenio Hall show right now. So it's very interesting to see how that lasts. I don't see it lasting no more than a year tops. Perhaps even if it does pass, if it passes November, then I'll give it a season. But I said only a season. It had good ratings when it started, but it dropped quickly after the second day. So let's just see what happens. One thing I will say is, it's back. He does have that normal time slot when he did have, just different network. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Person asked me before I go, because it's somebody have asked me this question about the summer blockbuster. It's actually been mentioned by many people, me myself included. It's even mentioned by a few people who actually followed the movie box office receipts. Do I feel, despite the fact that they are reporting record-breaking numbers, I don't know how, considering the major flops that we had this past summer, do I consider the summer blockbuster be a complete waste of time? I say yes. There were some movies that was expected to be a hit. Man of Steel was one of them, but there was a lot of films that just was utter failures. And if you put the box office receipts aside, it has not been, in terms of originality, in terms of pizzazz, this was the most disappointing out of them all. I think the last time we had a disappointing turnout of movies was when G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, Terminator, Salvation, Transformers 2 was out. It was not that big of a buzz. This year is no different. A lot of films that actually they thought was going to succeed bomb hard. A lot of films that actually was expected to bomb even harder. So it was pretty much a tough year sitting through it. And the films that surprisingly was great hits didn't cost the studio that much. And hopefully, and I'm saying hopefully, that they realize that big budget doesn't always mean big success. If anything, you get the opposite. The more money you spend, the more less likely that film is going to be a hit. And The Lone Ranger was proof of that, because they actually spend more than what they really necessarily need for a film that didn't have anything to deliver. So I actually feel this way. I think the fall and winter lineup of movies will have more of a pep Then the summer lineup, we have Thor, which surprisingly was not a summer film. That's kind of surprising to me. That's coming out. We also have other films arranging around there, and we also have the January line. So, to me, a lot of the films that's coming out pretty much will be equally good, if not better, than the films that came out this year. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. Well, that's it. I made it pretty much freestyle. The only article I will keep up will be the article that I recently talked about, the article with the Dodgers. Everything else is pretty much freestyle, and pretty much is already circled on the left, so it's not that hard to find. Trust me. If you guys want to look at the lineup, the new alignment of the NHL, for those who are diehard fans who want to see how the lineup is, haven't seen how they did it, go to yahoo.com, go to their sports section, and they have the lineup pretty much in order, or go to nhl.com. They should still have it as well. So for those who want to look at it. But until then, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and the Entertainment Roundup will return during the Golden Globes, the Academy Awards nomination season, and we'll be back on December of this year, leading up to next year. So until then, it's J77 saying take care, be safe, talk to you soon.